rising, great, rising, great, rising. Naga rising, spiritual rising, divine rising. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Yeah, you already know the vibes. Black Naga's in the building. Today is motivational, right? And I want to give y'all some particular understandings because last week I sat with a lot of energy. I deal with my own little personal things, but for the most part, the divine is walking with me on a whole nother level. So I wanted to tell you that no matter what adversity you got to deal with, no matter what adversity you have to deal with, the adversity is only there for you to choose your particular DNA of what you are, down to your spiritual connection. You are great in everything that you are, everything that you are, even if nothing around you sees that. Okay. If you don't get the attention, you don't get the love, don't worry about it and don't act towards the individuals who are expressing these values. You particularly will end up gravitating to those things that are particularly just like your energy. Now, has that happened for me? No. Have I read about it? Have I seen it? Yes. This is me being completely honest. Ultimately, my know of change is important. So then I know through past experiences that different particular placements, depending on you, you can place yourself in different energies and you'll be allowed to expand on everything that's great about you. More than just great. More than just great. And for anybody to ever attack your love, your heart, your your God-given gifts and try to add misdirection to that platform of value, something is wrong with them. And that's karma that they got to deal with. Now keep in mind, where there's one energy going one way, there's another energy going the opposite way. This is contrast. If I have a screw and I'm twisting it through a hole, it has to dig a hole out and it makes a groove. Those are two different aspects of light. You know what I'm saying? One is behind the groove and one is in front of it. So that speaks to a value. This is comprehension. This is not an attack. So you have to remove yourself from the value of thinking that people just don't get you or people don't understand. No, some people just what they are. And they will, in whatever they're dealing with in their energy, it'll be particular to whatever values. You're not supposed to focus on the jealousy, envy, the attacks, the non-content, the the um the false love, the lies. Don't focus on any of that. What you focus on is why was you connected to that? That's what you got to focus on. It's not even about what they do. You got to figure out what was the reason why you're locked open and allowed that in. And majority of the time is contrast. Majority of the time is contrast because you may be in a higher form and these energies are built to run towards higher vibrational energy. They're just more built for it. Higher vibrational energies, we work to become higher vibrational. So it's a slow ascend. It's like gradual. You take it gradual. You start to get into this energy and you keep going. So knowing that that's your direction, it might be slow and steady, but it wins the race. The real fast ones, the quick ones, beam, 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 moving around, they everywhere. They watching you move slow and steady. So they can get to you faster. People of your own characteristic, people of your energy, of your manifestation, like you, who vibe on the same retrospect, but in a different contingency or a different circumstance, they're moving slow and steady too. Some of us are just ahead, not faster, just started before. So we're still moving slow and steady. We just started way before you. That's just the process of rising back up. And the reason why it's slow and steady is because there's so much pushing down on it. So much light pushing down. And that light that's coming down, it keeps reality. So scientifically, if I can look at it and say, well, you know what, ultimately, this is just the reality itself. So if I'm able to move back towards divinity and this pretense of reality, what does that speak to? That speaks to the power that I'm capable of having. That speaks to my capabilities. A lot of people can't access divinity, and they will never be able to access divinity. And it's because they're so pushed down by all of the universal vibrations and the waves that create reality. That's gravity. So the more I give to this value of reality, this gravity, right, it's going to hold me still, right? But while I'm going up because I'm just being me, baby. I'm great in all my ways. I'm gonna keep being great. Ain't nothing gonna stop that. And like flow, where there's a rock in the water, we can go around and keep on rising, slow and steady. You see what I'm saying? Trying to get y'all to understand. Don't particularly focus on the connections. Those connections are damming up your flow. They damming up your flow. Leave it all behind. All of it. Every last bit of it. Rid yourself of it. There's nothing to look for. There's no connection. There's no consolidation. There is no outcome of circumstance where you need closure. Those things don't exist in intention. They exist in your realm of reality for some form of contingency, but they're not real. That's just subsequently how you would try to tether or hold yourself onto a circumstance. You need nothing from none of that. Rid yourself of all of it. And when you start getting to the bottom parts of what you need to rid yourself, still yourself, slow down. So therefore, divine can give you a new pathway. See, these are all divine principles. And the reason why I can speak to this and speak to it as a true value is because flow does this. This is what flow does. I don't know if you ever been in a mentality where you was doing anything, where you was fighting, playing basketball, running, playing football, painting, drawing, cooking, uh, having a good day, everything going right, cutting backflips. I can name a numerous amount of things that I can add to the roster of what flow can attell to. But to understand what my point is, flow itself, when you're in these boxes of flow, no matter what they are in existence to whatever circumstance, it's like it's a you just moving. And it's no pause, it's no I gotta think about this for a minute. It's just right. And let's not forget when right is right, it's just right. See, people want to take these things from you and kind of wash over the reality of circumstance. This is how complication comes into play. When right is right, it's just right. It's just right. Nobody can be me. Nobody can be you. And that's the whole thing. But see, people are not good into themselves. So what they do is they revert to other energies to try to make value. Ultimately, if you choose to be an individual that's not learning from the negative output of the world, and that's just a choice. And see, once you comprehend what negative is doing, you should be able to go sit right with it and look in his face and know that it's doing you like that. These are practices that I did with different individuals. I would sit right around individuals knowing that they were wrong, seeing the whole situation all over. Sometimes it's like some roles you play is like divine tell you, you're gonna have to do this later just to set the motion of the energy. You know what I'm saying? Everything is a planting of the seed because people are wrong. And at the end of the day, they don't want to take responsibility for the actions against their own spirituality. This is what you're wrong against. You can't be wrong to me. The spirit can't do a spirit wrong. We attach. But the angle that you choose to go with your light can be misdirected or redirected depending on its weight and gravity and purpose. So if your purpose coming from the divine and your angle distorts when it gets here, it starts distorting, and it starts, instead of going forward with flow, it starts to bend and change a little bit and make its way kind of like a block. Instead of going forward, it starts turning to the side like this, so it becomes a rock or a wall to stop other flow. So now you see a gap inside of the light frequency, like a line like this. You'll see a gap in it, and it'll be a straight line. They'll be like, how does that line exist horizontally? Because it turned, it distorted. It's consciousness. So once it turns and it distorts, it becomes a blockage. That's a choice. That's a choice. It's unaware that it's a light ray anymore. It's unaware. It forgot that it was in the flow of light, so it turned this way. So now we look at it on an actual digital infrared scale. You can see it sideways and watch that wave meld down all the way down to existence, and those particular people end up being titled and valued in a negative response. So ultimately, you go one way and you can come back this way. With the strength and going back against is when you're vertical going back up. See, the light is coming down vertically. So if you can go up vertically, it's like you dodging all the existence that's coming. Like you already know existence because you've been here. So now you're using existence to get back up. You're using everything that's coming towards you, going the same direction to go back up it. It's conveyor belt. This is divine frequency. This is flow. This is the nine. Look at the motion. It changes to a nine. It starts going like this. Like you're going like this, and then it goes. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. You want to get higher, you're gonna loop it, right? Because you wanna go up. So you're gonna loop it. So it's coming down. So then you go and you loop, and you still low. So you want to go loop it again, and it keeps making loops of nines until you rise up and take off. You see what I'm saying? And this is the vibration from the higher aspect, but down to this understanding, and it breaks off into characteristic traits that we are unaware of, unbeknownst. I like to sit with myself and be still and pause the energy and feel all the attempts that exist. Because I remember being in these different energies. I remember being a part of every energy that existed. But knowing that you're your source before you're anything else. Knowing that you're a source energy before anything else. Your cells have a life force in them before they're anything else. Everything in your body got a life force in it. And see, it takes a while to actually notice and then understand it and then control it or be able to harness that. And see, most of us harness it innately because we are already those rays going back up. The other ones that are just coming down to be, they're still fighting for reality. They're gonna have a harder time understanding this notion. So it's nothing that's opposing to you that's really an opposed. The reason why it's opposing is because you're rising the spiritual aspect. It's supposed to be that way. So what needs to happen to lessen the stress activity of dealing with opposition while you're rising in your spirituality is not to take it serious. It has to like it's almost like a consultationist. If I'm giving a consultation to somebody, when I used to give consultations in music. You know what I'm saying? Because I own Artist Land Productions. I've owned Artist Land Productions since 2011. It's a publishing company for music, and I also had Artist Land Consultations. So people would call me and they would want consultations on what they should do back, in the early 2000s on how to get their music career going, you know what I'm saying, at a certain aspect. Now, me personally, I was going to seminars, you know what I mean? I was going to seminars, I was performing, I was rubbing shoulders with a lot of celebrities, you know what I'm saying? Like I was doing different things, you know what I'm saying? I had became black entrepreneur for like a few years running, you know what I'm saying? Like I did a lot, I had accomplished a lot of things back to back. So ultimately within my journey, I accumulated a lot of knowledge without even being on the actual platform of being an artist. And I was being developed as a mogul, moreover than just an artist. Now I had the skills, I can rap, you know what I'm saying? I can write, I can engineer, I can produce, I can distribute, you know what I'm saying? I can do all that. That wasn't a problem. Me understanding the business was the next level. So as I understood the business, before I even got into the business, I was conducting business. You see what I'm saying? So it took me away from the goal to want to be the artist. And the more I learned knowledge, the more I started giving knowledge to people who were in a different situation. I would start meeting people who were in a higher situation than me that just didn't understand the business. So then ultimately I was able to give them knowledge on the business, and then they took off. And I forgot a lot of these conversations I used to have with certain individuals. I was looking at an old video of mine that I posted, like something I did like 11 years ago, and I was saying that I used to have conversations with Sammy's brother. Now, Sammy was the singer. If y'all remember Sammy the singer, I used to talk to his brother all the time because his brother was his manager. You know what I'm saying? So I forgot that I actually had these conversations or used to be kind of cool with some of these individuals in the music industry. And ultimately, that's not to say nothing, but it just shows the depths of the level of connections. Now, I never personally became a level like the artist that you know today, but I've made certain precedents. And because the knowledge that I learned within that time, I was able to give that knowledge to people that helped them go farther than I was able to go. So we're all stepping stones, regardless of the fact. Like it reverberates behind the vibration of the universe. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a forced situation. It's understanding what's coming towards you and utilizing that. If you have the wisdom, then you can utilize that. Ultimately, while we're dealing with most of these situations, we don't have it as wisdom. We don't have it as knowledge. We look at it as something that's hitting you, affecting you. Now, ultimately, why these things are affecting you, and you having a negative disposition towards them, or you having some type of disposition, whether it's negative or positive, regardless, to the circumstance, that's showing you how you should play the retrospect out towards your particular feelings. Are you strong enough to stand on those feelings? You see what I'm saying? And understanding that is is very important for your spiritual and your conscious growth and your divine growth inside of you, because your divine growth it strives off power, and it strives off power of self and how you connect that to express that through everything else. This is divinity. So once you understand that you're working that as a muscle, then you start working these things more particular. But the world tries to make them weak. Let me take an intermission real quick. I gotta get my tea, and we cooking right now, so I'm gonna come back in a few minutes. You know what I'm saying? I ain't playing no music today because I gotta use the this right here. This Restream. They don't allow me to put but so much up here, so just rock with me. You already know the vibes. Naga. I'm gonna play some background music though. Okay, so you know, one of the biggest one of the biggest sicknesses that we have as a culture of people. Matter of fact, pretty much everybody in the world. Well, no, I can't say that because some people do stuff out of spite. But one of the biggest problems that we have as a culture of people is hate for ourselves. The hate for yourself, it allows you to have a fake output as far as how you receive the things in the world that you think particularly that you like. So what am I saying? People who have a problem with themselves and you haven't quite dealt with that, like that war within your characteristic, particularly you go out and you look at towards certain things and you'll put on a face and say I like that or whatever, but truly you're hurting or you hating inside like the rub of what that is you're attracted to. Now why are you attracted to something? Most time you're attracted to things because it's similar to you, it's familiar to you, or it's something that you lack. This is what attraction does. Those are the three main reasons why things are attracted to you. So we got to be mindful when certain people are even telling you that they like what you got going on or they're interested in what you're saying. And they have to be coming from a certain place because you know why? They are fake under the skin. And you gotta be able to see this intention. I absorb all energy, no matter if it's fake, real, good or bad. I absorb all energy because I deal in the balance of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like the samadhi, the middle of everything. So I'm gonna see it from both sides anyway, and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna endure it, or I'm gonna take it in as if they're on the same playing field. So you would never know if I know that you up to anything anyway, because I'm gonna keep it on the same field. You know what I'm saying? That's just the power I deal with. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna just be like, I know sometimes because one of the energies they like to make your body shift. They like to make your consciousness shift. So you got to trying to control that from taking you deeper into the crowd of that type of energy is a little difficult sometimes. But pulling that back and keeping it next to the samadhi, next to the line, because it's good to stay by the line with. It's easy to stay by the line with good, but it's hard to stay by the line with bad. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like when you start bad, you want to just go all the way and keep being bad. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just what it is. Like you really want to smoke. You really want to smoke? There's a lot to deal with. I don't think you really want to do that. But ultimately, and these things, these characteristics that people carry, ultimately leads them into the low budget the low budget replica situation. This is when you start hearing people repeat things that you say. This is where you see people they can't think in their own mind, so they revert to what you do. You know what I'm saying? Or require something you said or done to explain what they're doing. This is why I mean having self awareness. Self awareness and you sitting by yourself will take you out of these mindsets. When you sit to yourself, everything about you is going to come to the surface. Everything you're thinking about, everything that's going on. But then this is when you're sitting still, is when you wash them away, is when you say, all right, now let's clear my mind. Divine, clear my mind of everything. Let me sit, let me be still. Help me be still, divine. You know what I'm saying? Etheric river, etheric flow, whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying? You call it whatever you want. Divinely listening to nobody. It's your intention at the end of the day that really matters. So you can put a name on it if you feel good, or you know what? Be more powerful in yourself and put no name on it. Just know within the intention that you're connecting to the divine. And when you start doing that, then you're going to access another level. You're going to access another level of awareness. Okay, so this is the whole point. You have to get more self-aware. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, if you're walking around with any particular contingencies other than directity, meaning whatever you say you do, stand on that. You know what I'm saying? And you can't stand on that, then that's what that is. Do not let what life is pull you either or from whatever direction. This is what control looks like. And see, a lot of people in this world, they play these games and they believe they had a power over circumstances. Like, and you can see it. You can like, yeah, you got it. You think you got it? You all right? That's how you feel. You know what I mean? For me, like I said, I always stay in the middle. You'll never know. Sometimes I'll shift because I know it, and I know it, and I'll be like, don't let the shift bust out. Don't let it bust out. It's because you know the truth. Don't let it bust out. Just chill. You know what I'm saying? Chill. Just let it go. Let it keep playing out. Cause that ain't got nothing to do with you. You have to move accordingly to information that you know. And once you understand that, that's when reality gets different. That's when the reality changes for the characteristic that you're dealing with. Instead of saying, yo, I tried to do this and I tried to do that and nobody listens. Instead of saying that, right? Instead of saying that, try. Devon was like, yo, you can't be giving it all out, yo. Devon was like, you can't be giving it all out. Y'all about to get y'all the whole blueprint. Like, it just stopped my tongue real quick. Like, nope, don't give it all out. You can't give out all the juice, yo. You can't give out all the juice. But that's what I'm here for, to give the juice to the people, right? Especially the good ones. So, but, and it's crazy because at the same time, my thoughts was like, somebody else gonna hear that you know. That you got the ultimate way to, you ain't gonna never get like, you ain't gonna never get played. If you say that, it's nothing. They gonna be like, what? He just say yeah, so ultimately it's cool, you know what I'm saying? You'll figure it out though. If you walking on that wavelength that I just broke down, it's gonna come to you anyway. That's just what it is. You'll be like, right, right, I got you, I got you. I understand. Like, that's just the reality. You're here. Topic point two. You're here as a physical body in holding or encaging a spiritual shield. We give more credit outside of ourselves because this is where your spirit is going to eventually come. And a lot of untamed energies don't know what to say. They're just pretty much getting pulled with the flow, like the trash. So if water's flowing, you see cups and all that. If it's dirty, you're gonna see leaves and everything, cups. If they got, it's flowing. Shit that ain't supposed to be there is in there too, but it's flowing. It's going along with the flow. And that's just what the reality is, right? So we get misnomered by the concept of what should be and what shouldn't be. As is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it will be. You feel me? So even if certain things ain't supposed to be in the water, they eventually wash up to the shore with other things that end up being flat. You know what I'm saying? Or dried out or breaking down. That's what the water does. It pushes up to the shore and it leaves a residual of the lasting water behind, and whatever force that's left can actually go back into the ocean. With all this process is grinding stones and anything, so it's leaving everything on the ocean. It's leaving everything on the shore wherever it's going. But flow is pushing it there. What does that speak to? I can say that. I can say flow will be like, man, why why y'all got all this stuff in my water? I can say flow is like, I can say flow be mad because they turn around and there's something in the water, right? I don't think that's a particular. I think flow just moves it and it goes where it's going to go and it's going to get there. It's not going to stop flow regardless what's in it. But we've been taught to look at the differences, the nasty and the ill and why, and the questioning and all this other. We've been taught to do that. You have to learn, and once you learn that you be as insignificant to others as they are to you. It's not a choice of emotion behind that. It's just stopping. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see a lot of things ripple because you stop. When you pull your energy back, everything ripples. You're everything. You get attacked in even more ways, which gives you what? Being attacked in more ways, even in their thoughts, gives you what? It gives you more ladders to rise up. Because mind you, you're horizontal. I mean, you're vertical, going back up the light frequency. That's why it seems so difficult because everything that's coming into being, to be physical in this world is all that energy is bombarding, it's hitting you, so it's in your way. So you can actually stand in front of it like this and dodge it, or while it's coming, you can jump on top of it and run on it and use it like Sonic the Hedgehog. Use it for like, you know what I'm saying? Like you jumping from one pier to the next. You can use it like that. You know what I'm saying? And take yourself to a whole nother level. That understanding is fortuitive. You know what I mean? So this is what it means to use the negative things that happen in your life as growth. This is what it means. You use that to go farther in spirituality. It is what it is. It is what it is. So you have to take your power back. And taking your power is not giving it out either. Like you give, like we have to be mindful when we tell stories. We tell stories, you have characters. The characters have roles, and these roles play particular parts in the story. Without that, you don't have a story. Think about what I just said. Without that, you don't have a story. So this is why lies are very important. You see what I'm saying? But like I say all the time, I said a lot of my bills. I like that bar with Remy Ma said in her joint. I don't play the game, I knock the board off the table. I ain't playing the game, I just knock the board off the table. It's a fact. So people gonna feel how they gonna feel. I really don't give a damn how nobody feel because intentionally when they act, they don't care about how you feel. So why should you care or respect anything about anybody else? You shouldn't. There's no need to. That's how you're being treated. So where does the value come to balance? You can't be weak. You can't be weak. That's not a fortuitive understanding. And sometimes people perceive certain things as such. Well, that's just a perception. That's not truth. But when we write the story and we speak on the characters, we place the energy behind their action, which defines these individuals as powerful or lesser powerful, depending on what the story is. And particularly, once I understand these values, should I tell the story or should I downplay it in front of them like it ain't that important? That shit ain't do nothing. I used to tell people at one point, I remember this lady said to me, I'm sorry. I'm like, excuse me? You can't tell me you sorry. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? You're not important enough for me to need an apology from. What you showed me is just not, you're a type of person that I didn't want to be around. I'm not mad or happy either or. I just understand your full capability now. And now I can move accordingly. It has nothing to do with emotions. So you being a sorry or trying to offer me an apology is not something I would accept anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like it just gets deep. You kind of take control of the whole conversation at that point. You kind of take control over the whole energy. You keep your energy. You know what I mean? But you have to be sincere in all your ways. Shout out to Dr. Mumbi. He said, you have to be sincere in all of your ways. Shout out to Dr. Mumbi. Love. But yeah, so this is understanding the true value of what's going on. That the world, they had to make belief. They had to bring belief in order for you to believe that things would particularly take place. They had to affect you. They had to hurt your flesh instead of letting your flesh. It was like, think about it like this. If I say flesh is going to experience what life can be. Oh, you're gonna experience life, huh? You're gonna prosper. Or you think you're gonna do good? Okay, watch this. I'm gonna give you an experience, all right. See, the ebb and flow comes into existence on its own recognizance. So here you are with intentional value that's affecting the flow. So that means it can play a role. That means it's you decide where you want to play that role at. You decided. The energy chose it. It's sometimes depending on you, you can get the bad first and the good after, or the good first and the bad after. This is ebb and flow. Whatever that is particularly meaning for you, good and bad. You know how that solidifies in your reality. But because it's chosen that way, and you not knowing that it works in these situations, it's almost like you playing hopscotch, looking to land on the right box. Well, if you had self-awareness, you would see it as such. You can watch the actions take place in your life. Instead of saying, I want these things to take place, look at where you at and look at how things respond to you. And I was having a thought, yesterday as I was meditating, and it was so deep, it actually just entailed more of the value of me knowing that when things is right in my life, there's nothing stops anything. Nothing stops nothing. Period. And I don't care what the fuck is going on in the world. Like when shit is right for me, it's just flowing. It's just flowing, right? It's flowing. And I get so passionate and excited just to connect to different individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like just to see that this knowledge is real ultimately, and to see that it actually betters and help people in some form of a way, because I understand when I'm using it at a particular moment that it's working. But you're gonna always have the contract, like, and see, it's deep because contrast is powerful because it's its own entity in an aspect. If there's energies coming in out of this level, solidifying down here on a smaller aspect, even if it's a characteristic trait, if it came from out down here, it was stronger than us. It's stronger than us, and it's stronger by showing you how it affects you. So when it affects you, if it changes your characteristic, that means you need to work on that. You see what I'm saying? That's ultimately what it is. If you get around certain people and you start to feel an affinity or something, some type of disillusion or some type of dislike, some type of negative form, and you were presently in another energy, you need to work on that. If when you're in these opposing energies and you need to you're trying to give energy to help people, but they're just not responding to you the right way, you know what I mean? You need to keep going. You don't sit and revel on the value of the disrespect or the non-content or the non-love or the displacement or the non-help or the non-family or whatever goes into existence. You don't sit there and revel on that. What you do is you recognize it. Because see, life is not what people are actually really thinking about. The stories come from moments, and some of the moments were burned out of intention. Somebody forced this reality into an existence. But there's been times where the other history that was taken away, where the greatest love has happened, where the most powerful connections between people has taken place, where the height of compassion has existed, where the height of romance, the height of art, the height of music, all these things have already taken place and we don't even know. We're still searching for something that's already happened. It's because somebody said that we can remove and destroy these things, then we can re-become them and we can have the value of how the people feel about these things. You can never steal the value of spirituality if you don't have the spirit to obtain it. You could say and do whatever you want, but it's not going to ring the same off you as it does everybody else. And this is, I think, is a concept that bothers individuals for the most part. You know, people they use the decisive understanding of how collective things should work and what they believe should work instead of playing a particular role. I follow no one. You know what I'm saying? I show love how I feel. And ultimately, if the love is reciprocated or reciprocity, then it's going to play its own stuff out. Unconditional love multiplies. It was something I seen on the news earlier, and I wanted to get the clip, but I don't have the screen record, so I wasn't able to get the clip. I probably could have put it up on here if I went to the joint. I might have to figure that out. But it was talking about, oh, now you're talking about love, 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 love. Now you want to bring love in. It ain't like niggas ain't been saying for a minute that love, unconditional love multiplies, you know what I'm saying? But you can't wait till the last minute to try to grab onto an anchor and hope this saves you. You got to put years of that in. You know what I'm saying? You have to, like, it's almost like a seed. As soon as I plant the seed and it starts to grow and it starts to change, it grows through stages. Until it gets to certain stages, I can't determine what's gonna happen with the individual tree or the plant. I have to let it get to its stages. And then when it gets to its stages where it can be stable on its own, then it manifests a true greatness. That's real care. You grow the seed until it can get stable on its own. That's real care. But this world that we live in is built off division. The parents you come from, the parents they come from, the concepts and things they had to deal with was built off division. The idealistic level of connection is built off division. Everything now that serves the value of the people of this country is built off division. There's no connection of innate come together. It's we can do this if well, I'm not going to move that because you see what I'm saying? Like everything has to have a contingency to it. That's why this place is going to fail. Not because nobody's not really getting the knowledge. Fuck the knowledge. Excuse my French. The knowledge is beautiful for people who want, and like, I respect General Seti because he gets all the truth about certain situations. You know what I'm saying? I respect some of the other brothers that deliver actual information. But the knowledge of old ain't gonna help nobody today. So even debating about something to try to that's when I go get the elders to be like, yo, shut these dudes up because they trying to say we not who we is. That's a whole nother conversation. But we not talking about that. We talking about spirituality. We talking about awareness. We talking about knowing. We talking about knowing. We talking about a solution to the everyday problems that people deal with every day. The reason why you are oppressed and you think you need to be there. The way you handle your family and your friends, and you think that's correct. What you think is love for yourself and how you kill yourself moreover every day. How you treat your family and you call that growth. You know what I'm saying? Like these ways of living is a manipulation that came over from slavery. And most people just stayed that way because they don't see no way out. Death puts PTSD in people's head. When you see people get hurt, you see people get beat down and you back down into submission, we just got to submit. We just got to give up. We got to let them take you. Yo, it's crazy. Like that with some people, they be like, just go on and give on up. Give up? What are you talking about? What is you talking about? Like, what does that even look like? I guess it looks like that for y'all because y'all like to do stuff like that. Y'all like to just give in. Well, I see how niggas became slaves. You gave up. You won't stand for you won't if you don't stand for something, you're gonna die for anything. And that's just what it is. If you don't stand for something, you'll die for anything, man. Bow! You dead for that too. You ain't stand for it, nigga. Kill you over a lollipop. Bow! Shit crazy, just like that. And ultimately, people want to put a lot of propaganda out in this world about certain situations about controlling parties. The controlling party is the controlling party. But ultimately, I think what holds everything back is the rhetoric. It's like all of the I gotta say this to let it happen. I gotta be the one that said this. Old head told me back in the day, saw quietly. Don't make no noise, saw quietly. Everybody who want to be inventors and make something and create a new world, go do it. Shut up. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? It's only when you start making noises when people are like, what does he say he's doing? No. Then you have then all right, because all right, like I said, it's contrast, right? Contrast and everything. So just like you got strong minds with on this side, you have strong everything all the way up to where you need the licenses and everything. You have all that, right? And they will even be in these offices like, yo, don't run your mouth about this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Certain people, da 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 da. As you go higher up, there's people in those same offices that get jealous because somebody lower might be making a move and they may say, nah, no, we're not gonna let that happen. But the person next to them won't have no problem with that. This is why it means saw quietly, because everywhere in life there's contrast. It's not to say niggas is hating. There's contrast. So wherever your value is growing, you have to expect the opposite to play its part. This is contrast. You understanding that that opposite to play its part is only a shadow to stand on. Is only a stair to walk up on and keep going up. That's your accomplishment. Once you understand that value, you recreate what's actually taking place and how it affects you. You see it before it happens. Way before it happens. And your drop game is ill. It's like, you know, you got to be mindful that you are so important and your special can't explain the value of what you are. There's no term that can explain your greatness. There are made up words by insignificant beings who don't want to connect to their value that are meant to break you. And that comes from they'll place these individuals right next to you. This is the test to see if you can rise within this pressure of creation coming down. It's a conveyor belt. Mind you, the lights is coming down here like this, it's coming at us and it's manifesting, but you're going back up. And to get higher, you got to spend another nine, another nine, another nine till you can take off. That's your whole point. So you're using these things that are coming down and solidifying as a reality to climb your way back out. And once you understand that, then you know that you've left everything behind because you're going to see all the new things coming. So all the new stuff coming. You ain't going to want to obtain all that. It's coming. You're going to use it to get through and keep on flying. You know what I'm saying? Naga, you already know the vibes. Like I said, knowledge in between 2 points is wisdom. That is the dragon, baby. So you already been here. Now they trying to show you how to get there. You know what I'm saying? And your understanding from here to here has to be wise. So let these things come. Let them come. Absorb. Take them all. And just dance on them. We Sonic out here. With the Mario beat. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all watch this all the way down to the end. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all came and y'all chilled with me through the whole thing. If you did, you know what I'm saying? Throw a 100 in the throw a 100 in the comment section for me if you got this far to the end and all that. You know what I'm saying? 100 in the heart. You know what I'm saying? 100 in love. You know what I'm saying? Show your boy some love. You know what I mean? My links is in the description. You know what I'm saying? All the time. You know what I mean? If you want the consultation, you know, the commercial is always there. You contact me through email. You know what I'm saying? Bring the problems to Naga. Come on. You want to talk about it? Bring them problems to Naga. We can build. You know what I'm saying? We have a personal conversation, and I don't take people's information and post it out. So if you want to have a personal, confidential conversation about some things going on in your life, contact me and we'll work them out together. I'm here walking with you. I had to go through it. You got to go through it. We're going to go through it together. You know what I'm saying? You already know the vibes. Love. Naga.